the Mitolife grounding sheet. It has arrived. So we're going to do an unboxing video, show you what to expect. Always cut outwards, remember that? Safety first. This is what you'll get when you order the Mitolife grounding bed sheet. And it actually comes with, if you want, an optional grounding rod. So you have to pay a little extra for that. And I got the king size here, so you can order twin, full, queen or king. And open it up, no tape, super easy. And this is what you'll see. And it comes with this little grounding attachment. So there's two different ways to ground your bed sheet. One is direct rod to earth, which is a little more difficult, but it's very worth it. And you could either drill a hole in the wall, or if you have an existing hole in the wall, you'll wait for this, you'll leave that outside, and you'll use this. And I'll give you a demonstration on this later on in the video. But this will be easier to poke through the wall than this big monstrosity. And so how this works is you'll just connect it there, and then you just hammer or rock that into the dirt. And you're still gonna need this attachment, so you're gonna need both. You can't, this is kind of like an extension cord. And so I'll just open this up to show you here. Try not to rip the packaging. Be really careful there. And so this is the standard. And if you live in an apartment complex and things are, a little more difficult with the grounding rod to go that route, then this is the easiest way to do it. And this just plugs into the third prong on the electrical outlet on your wall. And I'll show you how that works in a minute. But this clip, very simply, just goes here. You just press it on and you're done. And right now it's ungrounded. If I were to, connect this to this, like so, just push it in there, and then connect this to the rod and then put this in the earth, then it would be grounded. But right now it's just called a floating ground, kind of like EMF blocking clothing. So this is the easy route to go, and I'll show you very quickly how that looks. So you can see right here, give it some light, that's all you do, third prong. And sometimes some houses I've lived in, it's been loose, so you might need some type of an adapter. Just make sure it's really snug in there. If it's loose, there's tricks. You can, shove paper in there or whatever. I don't recommend metal, but yeah, just make sure it's really, really snug in there and it's grounded. And you have little meters you can use to test. Different companies sell conductivity meters. You can get an outlet checker to make sure that your outlet's grounded. But most houses are grounded, and this is something that you feel. So it's not necessarily placebo effect. You probably can get that, but it's rare. I do a lot of different health practices over the last 11 years, and earthing or grounding while I sleep has been one of the most profound for improving deep sleep, for enhancing dream recall, for just feeling more refreshed waking up the next day. We're designed to be connected to the earth while we sleep. So it's a very natural thing. There's no magnets involved. There's no EMF involved. There's no electricity involved. Only the electricity of the earth, which is a 6 sextillion ton battery. It's a battery that's charged by thousands of lightning strikes a minute, and it charges up the earth with negatively charged electrons on the surface. And that's what we're plugging into. That's what we're tapping into to charge our electric body. So I'm going to show you here on the bed. You want it on your base layer. And so this is what your skin will actually be touching. And you can be under the sheet. I find it works best if you have your, your lower half from your torso down. So these act as half sheets essentially. You can make them full, but I find, if you sweat from the torso up, then it's better not to hit the silver, because you can sweat all over your normal sheets, but when you sweat on the silver, it'll actually tarnish over time and decrease the conductivity, because there's a lot of crap in our sweat, and that decreases conductivity. We sweat out metals, we sweat out chemicals, and that will over time, not not 1 or 2 nights, but over time it will decrease the conductivity of your sheet. So what I like to do is use it as a half sheet on the second half of the bed, and you can see, so it just goes up, maybe even 3/4, something like that. And you can tuck it in, depending, if you could even get an oversized one. The sizing doesn't really matter too much. And then same thing, you just plug it in there, and that's it. It's a one-time setup. When you wash it, you want to use, it's called Y-Shield. It's made for conductive materials, basically. It's a special detergent that actually keeps up the conductivity of the material. So it will take off oils. One of the worst things you could do with this is wash it with essential oils, because that, lavender oil, whatever, lemongrass, whatever they put in natural laundry detergents, those essential oils will screw up the conductivity, will lower or cancel out the conductivity over time of your sheet. So ideally, I'm wearing EMF blocking underwear. That's all I wear. Your EMF blocking shirts, your jackets, whatever brand it is, wash those all together with your grounding sheet with the Y-Shield detergent. And you'll notice, it lasts a lot longer that way. But, even if you didn't do that, this will still last. It just won't last as long. But it goes a long way. And ideally, you get a little conductivity meter. Maybe we'll provide those at some point. But that's it. If you get a little voltmeter, I'll probably do another video on that later. You can get a multimeter, it's called. And that's a way to test too. So you ground the multimeter, which is a voltmeter, to the ground direct, or to the grounding socket, same thing. And then you touch it, and then you'll see your body voltage. And then you touch the grounding sheet, even with the tip of your index finger, even with 1 millimeter of your skin, and it's lightning fast voltage drop. And that's how grounding works. It's like up to a 70 times decrease in your body voltage, because there's so many different forms of EMFs. There's RFs, dirty electricity, electric fields, magnetic fields, radio waves. We have so many different things, but they all increase our body voltage. And the more body voltage you have, the more stress you have, psychological, physiological stress, the more fatigue you get, the less your immune system works, your endocrine system. Everything gets affected when your body is over voltage. Right? Our mitochondria is supposed to be charged at a minus, I think it's like 70 millivolts. Like, we're supposed to be negatively charged. But when we get all this positive voltage constantly hitting us and building up in our body, driving in cars, rubbing against that back seat, that's one of the millions of ways that we increase our body voltage. And that is very harmful to your health. And there's only one way to get rid of it. It's not by necessarily drinking alkaline water or ionized water or food, or, the best way to lower your body voltage is grounding. It's a discharge and a charging effect at the same time. That's the power of grounding. You're letting go of all that positive charge, and the negatively charged electrons from the earth are flowing up into your body and neutralizing basically protons, free radicals, positively charged particles that are causing chronic inflammation in your body. And there's so many studies out there on how grounding decreases inflammation in the body. It's well proven. So this isn't just some, pseudoscience, new age thing. Like, this is real. Grounding works. You feel it. Most people have never gotten proper night's sleep in their life. That's why they're dealing with, brain fog, mood problems, memory problems. Everything is caused by poor sleep. If you don't have good sleep, you don't have a life. You don't have anything. You can't function. You can't do anything. We all know how that is. And even one night will throw you off for days or weeks. So it's really good to prioritize sleep. And this is one of the many things that I use, air filters, humidifiers. There's a lot of things you could do, dirty electricity filters, turning off your Wi-Fi at night, painting your room with EMF blocking paint, which we're going to do. There's a million things, but one of the easiest, most practical things to do is grounding. So, this wire is a little crazy. It's a little puzzle to unwind it. Unfortunately, that's just how it is with wires. But once you do all that, basically, we're going to put this into the wall. So like I said, you could drill a hole in the wall. I don't think there's any here. And so we'll probably just stick it right out the window here. So if you have a screen like this, you just, boom, just pop it out. And, you do have a hole there. If you have a hole in your screen, that's a plus because half the work's already done for you. And you're just gonna route it outside like so. You probably want to untangle it at the same time. All right, so we're outside. We brought our trusty grounding rod. You can see it coming out the window right here. And on the grounding rod, there's a little cover. So that's a spike. And from what I've seen, a lot of grounding rods don't come with this spike. This makes it surprisingly a lot easier to pound into the dirt, to have the spike. So obviously spike down. And if you have a hammer, cool. I don't, so I'm just gonna go primal here, the rock. And really go as much as you can into the earth. There we go. And you don't want to lose it, obviously, but it's right there. And bonus points if you live in a place, make sure that's snug, and you're done. And then you could, if you want, do a little extra and just go all the way down. So bonus points if you live in a place where it snows and or rains. That's where we live currently. And obviously conductivity requires moisture, and the ground will retain a certain amount of moisture. But if you're in a really dry place, then the best place to put this is under your drain spout or somewhere where you can easily water it, even once a week, a few times a week. When you're watering the plants or whatever, just give your grounding rod a good splash. Just place it strategically. But where we live, where we get snow and rain pretty frequently, we don't have to worry about that. So that's it. And if you want to get fancy, you could, make this look all nice and kind of, put it on the wall with nails and little clips and holders. It's probably what I'll do eventually, so it doesn't look, just like there's a wire hanging here. But that's it. And then just connect it to the grounding sheet like I showed you. And this is ideal. This is, I would say, at least twice as strong as plugging into the grounding socket on your electrical outlet. Because the downside with that is that you'll get potentially stray voltage, dirty electricity coming up into your body just from it being in close proximity, the ground socket on the electrical with the electrical wiring. So this way we're completely bypassing that. I'm not a purist by any means, so there's still going to be some dirty electricity in the earth. The best place to do this is camping. When there's no cell reception, you throw this grounding rod outside your tent, you zip it up, no cell reception. That is the best way to do it. No power lines around you, no power stations around you. But, I'm not about purism, I'm about doing my best. And to do your best is to not go into the wall, it's to go into the earth. And, you're just paying another $10 or whatever it is to do this. And that's it. Extension cord to the earth, and charge up while you sleep. You know, you can measure it, track your sleep. You'll probably notice a difference. Make sure you get your sugar in, your animal protein before bed, a little bit of salt, and you should sleep amazing with this. And I'll be sharing more sleep tips on my YouTube channel, but this is a really great start, and you can now find these grounding sheets at mitolife.co.